Ann McKay, and in today's episode, we have the pleasure of chatting with Teara Harris, the dynamic founder and CEO of Communities of Tomorrow. Fueled by an impassioned desire to bridge the housing gap for middle-class families, Teara has diligently worked toward establishing affordable housing resources in several states, including Georgia and North Carolina. With a keen focus on homebuyer assistance programs and senior living, Teara is determined to assist those who find themselves caught in the financial gap, unable to qualify for the luxury homes on this side or the government subsidies on the other side. So apart from spearheading Communities of Tomorrow, she also serves as UDSA package for the 502 Direct Loan Program and affordable housing development for the Rail District, where her role encompasses a gamut of responsibilities, from mentoring acquisition personnel to negotiating contract terms. Join us as we delve into the journey and the impactful work of this committed trailblazer in the housing sector. So welcome, Teara.
Hi, how you doing? I'm so happy to be here today.
Could you start by telling us about the genesis of Communities of Tomorrow and what ignited your passion to assist middle-class families in securing affordable housing?
Everybody deserves a stable place to live, right? Whether you are renting or home ownership. And so, that's that was the goal, to have stable living environments. Um, and we are in a community now that the housing market is very hard to come by. We are dealing with inflation on a day-to-day basis. So for me, my background was HR, and I seen a lot of people on the production floor that was making the money to live in home ownership, but did not have the resources to help them out with that. So with that being said, it made them, my thought process is, if you create opportunities and resources for people, that they thrive, and that makes the community thrive. So now we will have a stable community, and people are spending money into the community. So the goal is, whether you are wanting to do home ownership or or if you want to just be a renter, it's about being stable and comfortable enough to spend money into your community. Because when a community thrives and it looks, then people take pride in the community. Then we will have less crime. We will have a beautiful community, and we will have, you know, uh, uh, a place that we can call home, and everybody is accepted. So for me, it was very important for me to start this back in the Communities of Tomorrow back in 2020.
In 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
Interesting.
Because yes, ma'am, because we was in a pandemic, and nobody didn't know where the resources were or how you do this. And so I'm a like program nerd. And so I was getting calls from the mayor to the chief of police, state officials about, what is the resources, and we went from there. And I just I started out doing resource events, and I was doing them in the pandemic, even though we didn't supposed to gather, but I did them outside, and we made sure everybody was, the proper feet apart. And I had the school system there, I had the jobs, I had, home ownership programs, and people in LaGrange, Georgia community got to take part of that, and seeing, okay, we have a whole bunch of resources, whether it's state, federal, or local, it was my job to bring all those resources together in one area. And so basically, the vendor set up a table, no cost to them, and no cost to the participant. And we fed them lunch. We had the mayor of LaGrange just speak and let people know, what was, available to them as on a local. We had a state representative and they explained on the state, and then we had federal. And so they just broke down everything so everybody knew where the resources were, how to tap in, and the contact person.
That is so important because there's so many resources out there, but without a guide to help them, it's really hard to find them. How does Communities of Tomorrow identify and select the regions where they plan to develop affordable housing?
Well, for me, I'm a Southern girl. And so, everybody dreams of moving to the big cities. But we have like North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Mississippi. These are untapped markets. Even Georgia's are untapped markets that people want to have a stable stability of home, either home ownership or just a home. And most people just want a safe, clean place to live. And sometimes the rural areas get left out. And so my main focus is going to different states that's very underserved to give them the resources on a state, federal, and a local um, basis, and also create home ownership or just building up a community. The community is what America really was founded on. I look at back in the day how everybody used to help each other and everybody was there for each other, but how the reason why is because they had a sense of community, a sense of togetherness. And so now I want to help to create that again. And I just enjoy getting to know people with the USDA. As me being a USDA packager, I can talk to people that never thought they could do be in a home or have home ownership and get excited because it's a great program. I mean, the 502 direct loan program, they'll pay a percentage of your mortgage and then you can get it up to 38 years at 4.125%. And so and depending on the area, because some areas, it depends on the income, it depends on the dependents in your household, and depending on the county that you stay in. But still, that's a good program. And it's all in all 50 states in the rural area. So even in California, they got the program. So this is a great program to give back a sense of community. And just, put people in very low to low income that never thought in a million years that they can get a home. I know that one young lady I helped to get pre-approved for $310,000. She was like blown away, like, oh my God, that's a lot of house. What am and but I tell people, just because you get a one amount, do not, kind of be below that because you got to think, and then we do continuing education on home ownership, where you're like, okay, you got to think about if you get a two storage, you're gonna have two units, right? If you get, so you got to factor in that light bill cost, utility cost. If you get acres of land, if you get 2 acres, then you got to pay that landscaping company, or you're gonna have to invest in a lawnmower. So it's just those types of things because now my job is to make sure you wrap your head around home ownership and how and what the steps of home ownership and the different things that you need. And that's important.
That's a really good idea because people who have not been homeowners don't sometimes realize all the additional costs that they're getting into. They just think of that mortgage payment, but there's a lot more. The
Yes.
focus of Communities of Tomorrow is really quite distinctive. It caters to families who earn between 60 and 120% of the median household income. Can you
Mhm.
elaborate on the challenges and maybe the rewards of working with this niche?
Well, I think for me is I come from poverty. And I didn't know that I was in poverty until I moved to Atlanta. I was like, oh my God, I was in poverty. But for me, it's is challenging and rewarding at the same time is having people to understand their resources and helping them being self-sufficient. Because if you're not self-sufficient, how I teach people, if I was to move to another country tomorrow, you would still know the tools and resources. I don't want you to be dependent on me. And I want you to do your own thing. So what I do, I give people the resources and the contact person. A lot of people don't like to give it. I'm giving out the contact person in case something happens. So for me, it's just the mindset. And when people feel like, they are a leader of their own life, then that's when they really take hold and take off and do the things that they want to do. I'm like a one-stop shop because I know about the programs. Like, if you wanted to go to school, I'd be like, okay, if you want to go to school, the technical college in LaGrange will help you with that. But then I also research other technical college in the area or in Georgia, Mississippi, in different places. Because they have government funding for those for high demand trades. And so I encourage, like, what do you want to do? What do you see for your life? I think in today's world, we need to help empower people to be more self-sufficient. And it's just like when you self-sufficient, you can do so much more. But if are always trying to help, well, not so much help, but do it for them, we're gonna be in the same situation, the same ongoing cycle, and they just gonna be doing enough to survive, not thrive. So my goal and my focus is helping that person be self-sufficient. How can we do that? Okay, change mindsets. Okay, how do you do that and not just preaching at them and just coming alongside them saying, and I got this from Circles of LaGrange, Georgia. It's a group, and I went through the group or whatever. And one thing I learned from that is you are the leader of your own life. I'm here, and they call allies. I'm here to root you on, to help you with the resources, but you are the leader. So whatever you want to do, that's your decision. Whether it's bad, good, or indifferent, it's your decision and it's your responsibility. And you are held accountable whether it's good or bad. And that course helped me to do the work that I do now. So, it's about holding people accountable, helping them be self-sufficient, and help them their mindset to change and not always look at the negative part of life, but turn it into a positive. Because I have had negative things to happen in my life, but when I look back on it, it was just like a test or a lesson that I needed to learn then so I can apply it now. I have a saying in my office, and one of it's like the nutrients to be successful, basically. And one of the items says you're gonna fail 100% of the time, and that's okay. But are you gonna stay there and gloat on it, or are you gonna do it better next time? Because I have been doing this in all helping out the community 14 years. In 2020, I stepped out on faith to get a 50 501c3, and I was scared out my mind. I have had so many roadblocks or discouragement or I can't do this and this and that out being in tears. However, I kept the course, I kept focused. And every time I was about ready to give up, it something showed me that I can do this. Currently, um, I am proud to announce that I have been working on a project with my business partner, Philip Abbott. He owns a lot of real estate in LaGrange, Georgia. Well, he brought me in to help him out or be his partner in this endeavor. So actually, I'm redeveloping the neighborhood I grew up in. And we have finished the first phase. And people, I could be sitting here in the conference room doing work, and people be peeping through the door. And I just said, I invite them in. It's like, come on in, let's um come and see what we have done. This is a landmark. This used to be this we still call it the Newman Building. And when we did the grand opening back in August, it was so rewarding to see that the Newman family actually came to the Rubicon from across the country. And they were in tears of how it looks now. And so we completed the first phase, and it took us 1 year. And people are like, oh my God, y'all done with the first phase in 1 year. Well, we have an awesome team. We have an awesome relationship wherein, you know, Philip basically concentrates on the construction, and I'm like the strategic thinker and like trying to figure out, you know, the different things and kind of keep everything going and just, you know, I'm like a jack of all trades. So it's just no, and I have had some big tasks, but I'm enjoying this. I love. We did a rural affordable housing summit last Thursday, and we did a tour here, and it was like, oh my God! And we had people from across the country. I was shocked. We had somebody from Texas. I was like, you came from Texas to come to this? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh. And it has been an outpour of love and support from the community, from the local officials. So from the state. I'm just excited about everything that is to come. The next phase we are working on, we are taking, and this is very innovative, but it's called the yard, and we're going to take some shipping containers and turn it into a food court. And so, yes, so we do have the drawings for that. Actually, my office is just like it's my office, but it's also a showroom. So we have the concept drawings throughout, so people can come in and kind of, look at the walls and see what all we have and all that good stuff. So we are excited. You know, we have did so much. Um, in a year's time, a little bit over a year. And so we hope to have the shipping container up and running next year. But yes, and I'm just happy about it. I'm thrilled. So
As someone who's carved a path in both the nonprofit and the government sectors, what advice would you give to individuals who are really looking to make a tangible impact in their communities through similar kinds of things that you do?
well, when we first started, don't give up the hope. I'm gonna say this: if you gonna fail 100% of the time, I'm a, I'm being honest. But and we was told that this was a pipe dream, or people ain't gonna see the vision, especially when when I come to the real district, I see what it is. I can see, but everybody can't see what you see because it might not be their vision. Don't ever give up on your dreams. If you know that this is your God-given talent, do it. Yes. When I didn't have no last year, I didn't even know about affordable housing. I thought, I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought it was low income. But then I got with a group of women, and that's how I met you. I got with a group of women called the one women. They got one national. I think they're gonna about to be in 32 states. And I walked into the Atlanta chapter, and I walked into the luncheon and I was like, I'm home. And it was just like women, just like me, that are doing a lot to help their community, and they can spearhead. And I thank God for the one women. I thank God for the Atlanta chapter. They have been phenomenal to me because I didn't know what I was doing. And if you don't know, that's okay. Just don't go in with an open mind and don't go in thinking one way. Be very open. And I thank God for the one women. I thank God for the ATL chapter. I thank God for the national actually Northcutt. I mean, because you don't never know who is going to give you that look, because it's a puzzle. So everybody got a piece of a puzzle that you have to put together. And I love doing networking events. I'm always in Atlanta, even though LaGrange is like an hour and 8 minutes from Atlanta. I'm there. Like, do you want to go to lunch? They're like, oh my God, you gonna come all the way up here for lunch? Yes. Because sit here talking, if I go to lunch and we sitting there talking, and you bring up something that I haven't thought about it, then I could run this back and try to implement it into the development project or into the rural area. Um, I'm open and I want to, because when you get into the rural area, it kind of get a little bit a little difficult because of, some people think one way, and then the people don't know the resources. So if you can capitalize on understanding the resources, then that can how you can better serve your community. So yes, networking, that's your friend. Getting on committees, serving, that's how I went to Maureen Freehill, and that's the Atlanta chapter. Um Programmer, and I was like, can we do a rural affordable housing summit? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, for real? And we started meeting at the first of the year, and we plan every 2 weeks. We set aside time, and we had over 100 people there. I couldn't have not did that event without one. I could not have been sitting here talking to you today without, the connection of one. um Communities, they seen my vision I seen my vision, but I couldn't really articulate it, and they helped me to articulate my goals, dreams, and aspirations. I thank God for Philip Abbott for bringing me on this crazy, wild, rewarding ride. I mean, I'm just thankful, that because people watch you, right? They watch you, and me, I'm the type of person where I'm very outspoken, and I tell you what, I'm just me. Like, here I am. But people watch. Most people say about me is passion, and I was like, oh, it's just my personality. But people watch you, and they sit back and see what you're gonna do. So don't think that you're doing it in vain. People do watch. People watch, I say. And so just keep doing what you're doing and enjoy it. And yes, it's hard, and yes, is that. But at the end of the day, it's so much rewarding. And then when you doing what you love to do, it's not work. It's something that you get up in the morning and you enjoy doing. It don't feel like work to you. So, I mean, that's my advice.
I'd say just keep doing what you're doing. So thank you so much, Tiara, for being with us today. And we really appreciate everything you're doing to help other families get that home ownership going that they really would love to have and find the resources that they need to survive and to thrive, as you said. So
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you.